This is a weak and overpronated foot, a poor foundation for the entire body. And this is a strong foot, ready to handle anything you throw at it. Today, I'm going to show you the 5 key skills you need to transform your weak feet into strong ones. You'll test yourself against these skills, find out where you stand, and know exactly what to work on to build the strong foundation your body deserves. This is your path from weak to strong feet. Let's get started. Skill 1. Learn to splay the toes. This is the ability to spread the toes so they become the widest part of the foot. It's a skill that is essential for good stability for 2 reasons. First, it forms a stable 3-point base similar to a tripod. The stable base is lost when the toes come together to a point. Second, toe splay aligns the bones of the toes with the bones of the midfoot. This allows all the muscles that connect to them to also be in good alignment, giving them the mechanical advantage to better activate the foot arch. But when the toes shift out of position, like in the case of a bunion, the attached muscles move with them and are put into a mechanically disadvantaged position, making them less effective at activating the foot arch. Think of the bicep curl. The version of this movement that allows you to move the most weight is when the palms are facing upwards. This is because in this position, the muscles that run from the bicep to the forearm are aligned perfectly and so are in their most powerful position for contraction. If we were to twist our hands in the way we would for a reverse grip curl, the rotation twists the muscles out of perfect alignment, and so contraction power is lost and less weight can be lifted. The foot muscles are twisted in exactly the same way when the toes lose their alignment. Research has validated this connection between toe misalignment issues and flat feet. Surprisingly, one study found that just 10 degrees of toe misalignment was enough to collapse the arches. Let's see where you're at in your toe splaying ability. This test will assess how well you can actively splay your toes. While seated, try to spread your toes as wide as possible and hold this expanded position. Test both feet. You can assess your ability based on these 4 levels. Level 1. You can't spread out your toes at all. They feel glued together. Level 2. You can spread your toes a little, but your big toe tends to lift instead of spreading. Level 3. You can spread your toes wide, but you get a cramp in your arch within a minute of holding the position. Level 4. You can spread your toes and hold the position for more than a minute without any issues. If you're not on level 4, some progress can be made in your toe splaying ability. If you can't spread your toes, check your shoes. This limitation is often caused by wearing shoes with a narrow toe box, which acts like a restrictive cast around the toes. Over time, this constant restriction can cause the toes to get stuck in this position and lose their ability to splay on their own. It's important to look for wide toe box shoes like Barefoot Shoes, which are designed to mimic the natural shape of the feet and allow the toes to move freely. But the increased space of Barefoot Shoes may not be enough to realign the toes. Because they're often stuck in their misaligned state, they may need temporary assistance from passive support tools like silicone spacers to help them back into the correct position. A 12-month study on toe misalignment proved the effectiveness of silicone spacers. 2 groups were compared. One group wore wide toe box shoes and the other wore the same shoes with toe spacers. The group using only the shoes saw no improvement, but those using both shoes and spacers had significant improvement in alignment. The study shows the need to retrain the toes to take advantage of the extra space in wide toe box shoes. You can find our recommended silicone spacers by visiting the products we use page on our website. You can access it through bfs.fit or through the links in the description. Now on to skill 2, balancing on one leg. When we move, we're mostly supported by one leg. This is the case 60 to 70% of the time while walking and 100% of the time when running. So it's crucial that each foot be strong and stable enough to support the entire body while in motion. Practicing the single leg balance can improve this ability. A 2004 study revealed that a 6-week single leg balancing program significantly increased the arch height, indicating better foot support among 11 participants. Let's see how good you are at balancing on one foot. This test challenges your single leg balance. The most basic version involves just trying to balance on one leg for more than a minute. If you can't, then you're at level 1 in your single leg balance ability. The next stage is to try and do single leg heel raises. If you can't do 10 or more consecutive heel raises without supporting yourself with the other leg, then you're at level 2. Next, try to control the heel raises by doing these repetitions with a 3-second ascent and descent. If you can't do this variation, then you're at level 3. If you can manage to do 10 or more reps at this controlled pace of a 3-second ascent and descent, big thumbs up to you because you're at level 4 with good single leg stability. Test both feet. If you struggle to balance on one leg, you should check to see that your glutes are firing. Outside of the feet, they are another important stabilizer during single leg balancing. You can test this by placing your hands on your hips while standing on one leg. If one hip drops below the other, it's an indication of poor glute function. I'll drop links in the description to our videos on building strong glutes. Skill 3. Ankle mobility. Basic human movements like walking and squatting depend on good ankle mobility. When the ankles are tight, the body adapts by spinning out and overpronating the feet, leading to flattened arches. This compensation essentially forces the feet to act like second ankle joints. A 2022 study confirmed the link between flat feet and tight ankles, finding that over 70% of people with fallen arches also had restricted ankle mobility. This next test will check to see if you have enough ankle mobility to do a good deep squat where the hips are well below the knees. If you find that you struggle to get down into the squat and your weight shifts back onto your heels, making you feel like you want to fall over backwards and your lower back rounds excessively, or you have to compensate by lifting your heels off the ground to get down deep into the squat, then you're at level 1. If you can successfully get down into a deep squat with an upright torso and a flat lower back, but you have to spin your feet outwards like a duck to do it, then you're at level 2. However, if you can get into this position with straight feet, an upright torso and a flat lower back, but you struggle to maintain the position for more than a minute, then you're at level 3. And of course, if you can perform this perfect squat, once again with straight feet, an upright torso and a flat lower back, and you can hold this position without any discomfort for more than a minute, then you're a squat master and your ankle mobility is spot on. If you don't have the ankle mobility to get into a deep squat, it might be because you don't often use your ankle's full range of motion. It's a classic case of use it or lose it. Think of how much time you spend sitting in a chair where your ankles, knees, and hips are restricted at 90 degrees. But in a squat, these joints move beyond that point and explore their full range of motion. So where you can, opt for sitting in the squat position. If you're not yet able to do a deep squat, try using a lower chair as a starting point to gradually increase your flexibility. Skill 4 is the ability to absorb the impact forces we experience when we move. While running, the impact forces of each step can reach 3 to 4 times body weight. So being able to land and absorb these impact forces through the feet and ankles is critical for safe running. Consider a 70 kilogram person running 3 kilometers with an average stride length of 1.5 meters. This results in about 2,000 strides or 4,000 steps during the run. If each step generates an impact force of 3 times their body weight over a 3 kilometer run, or 4,000 steps, the feet would experience a total of 840 tons of impact force. So, without the ability to efficiently absorb such immense impact forces, the risk of injury would increase significantly. Statistics indicate that the chance of a recreational runner getting injured within a year of training is as high as 79%. It's clear that many of us need to improve the shock absorbing capacities of our feet. The body's way of absorbing these impact forces is through pronation, but it has to be done in a controlled way where the foot doesn't collapse and overpronate. Overpronation is a sign of a weak foot arch that collapses after impact. We've developed a safe test that doesn't involve any impact but can predict how well your foot can absorb landing forces. Stand on any sloped surface running towards your body. The sloped surface will promote overpronation so that we can test how well your foot can resist overpronation. If you struggle to hold your balance on one foot while on the slope, then you're at level 1. If you can balance in this position, but your foot arch collapses, identified by flattening of the arch and the big toe deviating inwards, then you're at level 2. If you can hold your balance with a stable foot arch, but struggle to do so for more than a minute, then you're at level 3. And of course, if you can balance with good positioning for a minute or more, then your feet are well equipped to resist overpronation. If your feet overpronate, check your glutes. An interesting study tested a 4-week foot strengthening program to fix overpronation and saw good results. However, when glute exercises were added, there was a 68% greater improvement compared to the foot-only method. This shows how the feet and glutes work together to keep the body aligned and moving efficiently. Still not convinced? Try this. Stand with your feet straight and hip-width apart. Then bring your knees together until they touch. This deactivates the glutes, which you can confirm by poking the muscles. Now look at your feet. They should be overpronated. Next, contract your glutes. You'll notice your knees pull apart and your feet return to a neutral position. This shows how connected the feet and glutes are and why both should be addressed for a strong foundation. That's why we've created both a feet and glutes course on our website. If you'd like to take advantage of this powerful duo, use code BUNDLE at checkout for 20% off when purchasing both courses. The final skill for developing strong feet is the ability to re-stiffen the foot arches after impact, preparing them to push off into the next step. Instead of absorbing impact forces, the foot now channels them back through the body to propel it forward. So, can you maintain a stiff foot arch? Try this test. Find the highest part of your foot arch and place a stack of coins beneath it, leaving a small gap between the top of the stack and your arch. If you cannot fit 2 or more coins between the floor and your arch without touching, you are at level 1. If 2 or more coins can fit, stand up and balance on that leg. When balancing, maintain the 3 points of ground contact: big toe, little toe, and heel, without rolling onto the side of your foot. If your arch collapses and touches the coins, you are at level 2. If your arch stays elevated, begin moving on your non-weight bearing leg as if pointing to different hours on an imaginary clock face. For the right leg, start at 12 o'clock and move clockwise towards 6 o'clock. For the left leg, start at 12 and move counterclockwise towards 6 o'clock. If your arch collapses onto the coins while performing these movements, you are at level 3. If you can complete the movements from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock for both legs without your arches touching the coins and while maintaining proper foot positioning, you are at level 4 and demonstrate excellent supination strength during dynamic movements. If you found that test difficult, you likely need to build up your foot arches. The simplest way to build foot arch strength is to exercise barefoot. A study showed that gradually increasing barefoot activity over just 4 months can raise the arches by an impressive 4.7 millimeters. The key word here, gradual. One wouldn't jump into a 5-kilometer run on the treadmill or a 2-hour weightlifting session barefoot on the first day of training. Instead, try starting with a barefoot warm-up, then switch to shoes for the remainder of the session. As the feet adapt to being barefoot, the amount of training done barefoot can be increased. Just casually wearing barefoot shoes can also improve foot strength. A recent study revealed that just 6 months in barefoot shoes can lead to an almost 60% increase in foot strength. Now that you've completed the tests, you're probably wondering, what exercises can help you improve these skills? We've created a free Strong Feet guide, which includes one targeted exercise for each of the 5 skills. You can get it through the link below or just click here. Here is the glute video I mentioned earlier, and here is a video on how to correctly use arch support and silicone spacers. See you there.